Good morning everyone and welcome back to the channel, and I've been making some big progress on our newest series, which is going to run every couple of Mondays because I am not just a Zelda channel and I am not just a simple channel. We're going to do lots of different things, and don't bug me because this is not going to be consistent, but welcome to Mocked, my play on a Mocked series. It's an awful name because it has double criteria. It stands for my own creation / design, and the K is because it's cool, but it's spelt wrong. And it also just spells mocked, and that's funny because you guys are definitely going to mock me for some of the stuff I'm going to make on this series here. So what better way to start Mocked than by making a better logo? Because as you just saw, the logo you just saw was awful. And that is actually our base design for what we're going to be doing today. So this is going to be a two-parter, I think. I'm going to try and set it up. I'm going to explain some basic studio stuff and show you some cool things. So I think we're going to focus on the wonky M and start the ground for the scaffolding for the rest of it. So right now we just have a green base plate here. Let's set this as our origin, and I'm going to make some progress. I think... well, I don't know where I'm going to start. Let's see. Right, welcome back, and I've made some quick progress there. Not much done yet. This took me about, 3 minutes to decide what I'm doing, and then another 2 just to build it. So it's basically just a couple of blue paints, and this is outlining where our wonky M pillar is going to go. And it's going to go somewhere in the middle here. And it's going to be like a Corinthian column coming out of an ocean. So instead of being boring and just doing some layered tile work like I'm doing in some of my other mocks, I decided we'll build a wave box and we'll use a wavy technique built out of some sides. So let me build up a bit of a demo thing and then I'll explain that. Right, so I did a lot more than I said I was going to do. And you can see kind of what I mean now. I didn't build up the wave box anymore, but let's talk about a couple of the smaller things before I jump in and explain all of this. So I'm thinking we're going to have a dark grey shoreline running along the back, and we'll work out how we're going to integrate that in a minute. And we've also put our hinge in for our column that's going to come out of there. But that's pretty much it. I'm not sure how this is going to attach yet, so I haven't actually attached it to the back wall. But I've placed it here tentatively. I built up this little plate layer across the top to support it, because in real life this would need it. Not that I'm actually building this in real life. And what we did is we took a combination of 1x2 bricks and 1x1 round circular bricks, as well as some 1x1s to fill in the gaps. The interesting thing you can get between using rounds and these is because they're round, you get a bit of flex. And that means that for each brick, you can change the angle by about 10 to 15 degrees. So it's a bit hard to see here, but you can see we start high, we slope down, and then we come up for a more casual effect. And that's going to make some really nice rolling waves, especially when you've got different colours of blues and some white for some surf and some different things. And we're going to have our column sitting out, and our wave box is going to be nicely smoothed out around the edge. So I'm going to get on with that, and I'll show you the next stage when I finish that. So I pretty much finished it. I should have come back a bit more, but I've got some interesting things to show you. So you can see that the wave is in and looking absolutely amazing. We've got our beginning of our column. I chose tan instead of white because the letters are going to be white and the foam is white. And you can see all kinds of patterns here. Oh, I've missed a plate layer there. And all different colours, some surf and things. I had to fill it in using 1x2 plates and 1x1 round plates over there and some tiles, but it works in the exact same way and it came out just as well. I also tiled off the wave box, making it completely level along this side, and then I raised it up a bit here just so that you couldn't see any of the 8 edges, and I think those are probably the best curves for the job, and that came out really well. The most difficult part of this by far was definitely the shoreline over here, so I'm just going to set this as origin and show you. So when looking at it from this angle, you want to know that there's ocean and rock there, because the ocean doesn't like go under earth, that the earth comes down as a line. So I put blue on there to hide any gaps, just to make it look like that from that perspective. And then I was able to only place about 2 bricks. You can see that one there, and the reason that can be placed there but not next to this is because the square edge of this overlaps into collision, so it wouldn't be possible in real life. We have this tool here called collision, and as you can see, if I copy this brick here and try to place it there, it goes transparent, meaning that it can't be placed there. I'm going to turn collision off again though. But it can go here because the round brick doesn't interfere. So that gave me enough of a pillar to place this a long 12 by 1 brick across. But the problem was you could still see through. So I got some brackets and a 1 by 12 plate, and I connected them all up, and it creates kind of a secrety cave / just shoreline look. So I don't want it to be that flat. We're going to build up some rocks along the edge, but I think what we're going to do is we're going to do some more progress, and then we'll see how it's at, and then I'll show you that then, and then we might call it a day there, but we'll see. Let's just tidy this up. Cool. So guys, it's got a bit out of hand and it's got a bit crazy, and it is definitely where we're going to leave it today. But as you can see, we extended our column. We did some rock work along here. I'll talk more about that in a minute. We also put in a large amount of scaffolding and an M. So let me just talk through the elephant in the room, and that is this giant yellow scaffolding. I want this to be quite a bright thing. So we went with yellow using the red pins as connectors, and I want it to look like Lego, not realistic. So it doesn't matter about showing the red pins, it just kind of makes it look better. Although I could squidge them down if I wanted to. I haven't filled in the back yet. You can still see those brackets in there. We've got two different structures here. We've got this back structure, which kind of interlinks a bit into the crane structure. So this taller one is going to be the crane boom that's holding our O just about here. And that's how the M is also going to be attached, just like in our logo. Then we've also got this scaffolding in the front, because just along here is going to be the rest of our letters. So we've got a lot of work to do still. But let's go and take a quick look at the rest of the rock work down here. So I started landscaping this in a bit. So there's our long beam along from before, and I just added an extra layer, mainly because I wanted to be able to use the 1 by 3 slopes. You've got a couple of layerings in here. As you can see, it's about 3 bricks deep using some inverted slopes. And I generally like to mix in a bit of lighter stone colours as well as the olive green and dark green in a variety of 2 by 1 slopes like that. 1 by 1 slopes, inverted, pyramid pieces. And then my new favourite rockwork piece is these curved slopes at an angle, which look really good put together, but they kind of do their job just as well there. So I didn't do too much rock work, just enough to get the scaffolding in, just to see how this thing was shaping up. The thing I'm most proud of is definitely going to be the letter shaping. So our column was made up out of these 2 by 2 round profile bricks with the Corinthian column kind of look. But then I used this piece, which isn't available in this colour, as you can see by this little exclamation mark down here, which tells us that it isn't available. But I used it anyway because this build isn't going to be in real life. And this piece was around the Nexonite's time, used for a couple of stone enemies and weapons and things. And I just thought it looked a bit like decorative column work. I then went and used the 1 by 1 arch pieces. Oh dear, that one's not coloured. Oops. Let's colour that in quickly in tan. Which kind of do those flourishes that columns have. And then I use the Frozone piece, which is also not available in this colour, before topping it off with our letter M, which is just a simple letter M that's toppling off the pillar. Used a hinge to get a better angle to make it look like it was falling. I do realise that it wouldn't stay like that, but remember there's going to be some form of chain attaching the two. I haven't made a count for that because I don't know where the O is going to be yet, but just a simple letter M. I realise this isn't gravity, but once again, this isn't being built in real life. So let's take an overview of what we did today. We did quite a lot. I set up the project. We built a whole letter. We got the concept in. The wave pool took a lot longer than I thought, so I kind of ran out of time. But I'm pretty pleased with the column design, and also the blend between doesn't look too bad. I'm chuffed. It's the first time I've used this in studio, so I think that came out well. Pleased with how the scaffolding is going to look. Got some sideways pieces there to continue it on. And as always, the rockwork came out perfectly. I'm a bit of a rockwork, boring rockwork person on studio. But I always like how it turns out, and I've got some more colour in there than usual. So we'll be back on this in a couple of weeks. In the meantime, we're going to keep using our dodgy logo. I've got some cool projects to show you, as well as obviously more progress on this in a couple of weeks.